Shasta, tell me a little bit about yourself and about Miller Bonded.
Well, I've been working for Miller Bonded for about 16 years. We're a full mechanical company in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Been around it was formed in 1995 with a merger between Miller Metal Company and Bonded Plumbing Company, who've both been in business since the 40s and 50s. And so we have had various offerings throughout the years, but right now we're sticking with what we're good at, and that's sheet metal and plumbing and piping. So.
Great. And how much does the business split between the two? Do you do quite a bit of sheet metal, or is it more the mechanical plumbing side?
So I would say that the jobs that we get are predominantly split. You know, we just have the full mechanical offering. We do have duct fabrication that we do outside sales for. We do have a pipe fabrication shop also, but that offering is a little not quite as extensive as our duct fab is.
So have you always been in finance and working through the industry that way?
I have not, no. I'm one of those stories of somebody who didn't know what she wanted to be when she grew up, and at the ripe age of 21 thought that life was passing me by. So I needed to get married and start my family, and before I got my degree, and needed some place to fall, and construction caught me. And so just kind of worked my way up from administrative duties into operations, project management, operations manager, and then an opportunity came available in our company probably 2 or 3 years ago to run the finance area, and that's where I'm at.
Great. And so looking back on your career arc, what would you tell someone who is in a similar role about construction?
I think that's the amazing thing about construction. One of the amazing things, of course, there are countless, but everyone accepts you where you're at. And if you get in there and you figure out a way to, I don't know, just figure out a way to make a difference, figure out a way to ask questions, figure out a way to just continue to try to move yourself forward, those opportunities are going to be presented for you. So.
Great. And tell me a little bit about your volunteer role in getting involved with SMACNA, how important that is to you.
Oh, that's been huge. I remember Keith Wilson, this was years ago, I want to say probably 2006 or 2007. They were putting together a task force on, ITI actually was, on development of a foreman training manual. And that was something we had struggled with in our company when I got there, and it was like, well, this is broken and we need to fix this. You know, these people are having problems, these people are having problems, there's got to be a solution. And so I had been pretty instrumental in our company in coming up with our own kind of training thing. Keith Wilson, who is the owner of our company, he's a former SMACNA president, had heard of this task force that was going to be formed, and he thought maybe I would have something relevant to lend to the conversation. And so Tom Souls invited me to be part of that task force, and that was my first introduction to SMACNA and all of its offerings. And so I came back with just this lengthy list of questions for Keith, and it was like, oh my gosh, this world, this SMACNA world, what is it? And that's where it began. And from there, a few years later, I went to my first convention, and you know, the people up on stage, I thought they were larger than life, and it was just, I've got to figure out a way how to immerse myself in this and be more of a part of it. So I just found so many interesting conversations going on at lunch tables, at you know, in various meetings and everything about things that were really relevant to what we were dealing with in our company. I think people have a tendency to get, you know, maybe siloed in their own company and think that that's what it's all about. And up to that point in time in my professional career, that's what I thought it was all about too, is just, oh, well, we've got to fix this, never thinking that the outside world had the same problems we did. It's kind of like that dysfunctional family. You think you are the only dysfunctional family on the block, but yeah, no, we've all got the same problems. And so SMACNA has illuminated problems and possible solutions for us to be able to take back to our company, so that collectively across the nation and Canada also, that, you know, collectively we can be more professional and have a better offering, so that we aren't having to re-grease the same wheel every single company.
So now in your new role, with volunteer role with SMACNA on the board, what do you want to achieve with that? Is there anything specific? Do you have an agenda that you want to accomplish?
So
Or some items of importance that you
actually, history has shown that if I get in there and listen more than I talk at first and try to figure out what the collective idea is for what we're trying to accomplish together, then I can figure out how to more effectively insert myself into that. So without having sat on that board right now, I'm kind of fan geeking a little bit. It's kind of like, oh my gosh. A few years ago when I went to my first SMACNA convention, to sit at the table with the people that are making the decisions and how to keep those things rolling it's a little surreal, actually. But honestly, just continue to try to be part of the conversation of thoughts and ideas that make our industry most progressive, most advanced, to best arm ourselves with the answers to the questions before the questions present themselves. Because our non-union competition's, chomping at our heels, and they're figuring out the training portion of it, which the sheet metal contractors with the union combination there has really capitalized on that in the past. And it's like they're trying to make strides, and I think they're doing a fairly decent job. And so we've got to figure out the next thing that makes us the most relevant and the most desirable for the owners and the contractors that are out there. So.
Gotcha. And what is workforce development like in your area? Are you guys having trouble finding enough workers and people in the office as well?
So workers in the field, we have had, in New Mexico, we have over the past several years had attrition of population. I don't know that there's that many states in the union that are having that problem, but New Mexico has. On top of that, Facebook came to town a few years ago, and so that robbed us of a good number of skilled laborers. And then Intel started unmothballing this past year, and so all kind of struggling for those best field guys. It always kind of sort of seems to work itself out, but with regard to the office, we have had a little bit of a challenge with project managers, qualified superintendents. So, we always try to come up with creative ways to help resolve those issues. For the field foreman, we're always looking for those progressive thinking, fast at reacting, just genuinely honest, loyal people that we can invest in, feel really good about investing in and raising them up to be our foreman. For superintendents, we just hold on to those guys as long as we absolutely can. Project managers, we try to do a bunch of in-house development, but then it's also looking at it from a perspective of what responsibilities can you strip away from your project managers so you can do more with less. And so by that, we have two probably key project managers, probably worth about a $35 million shop. And so trying to figure out what portion of those responsibilities doesn't require their expertise. Let's strip that off and let's let some admin people help with that. And we've been really successful with that over the years, in having our project administrators, take some of that responsibility off, and making sure that they're tracking down the paperwork, making sure that things are addressed timely, that they, look professional, and letting the project managers do what they're best suited for that our admin staff can't help with. And so that's really helped us to be able to capitalize on what we do have available.
Well, great. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Oh, sure.
And have a great convention.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.